cloud. All right, the recording's getting set up. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it's 12:30. Say, Kevin, if you can turn on your camera, the expectation is to have cameras on. And there's some good reasons for that. And folks, I don't care what your background looks like. If you feel there's a strong reason not to have the camera on, for example, well, let's not go into examples, then, you know, exceptions can be made, but the default case is to have the camera on. And as an instructor, I really feed upon you. That sounds terrible, but put it in a different way. I get a lot of information from your faces. And when you have a lot of energy, I pick up that energy. And when you have doubts and questions, even if you don't talk, then I might be able to see it in your face, and I can pause and find out what we need to do to help you there. So Kevin, are you able to put your camera on?
I'm on my desktop right now. I don't have a webcam on it. I can switch over to my laptop though, so I'll rejoin.
Okay, how about you do that on a different day then? Okay. So because I don't want you to miss even one moment of all of these, all this wisdom that is just dripping from my mouth. Like a really, really good peach, all that wisdom. Ooh, lots of wisdom, too much wisdom. Okay, so my name is Professor Kivalowitz. I'm the chair of the computer science department, and I am really thrilled to be here with you. I love teaching this course. You're in a course that essentially I took the same course, and I'm going to talk about that quite a bit. In that every one of us are in a field in which you can go anywhere. One of the great things about computer science, there's just no telling where you will go with this kind of background in education, because everything in our world these days has something to do, it rests in some way upon computers and computer science. It's in the background there somewhere. So this is like the best field. Of course, I'm biased, but just because I'm biased doesn't mean I'm not right. So anyway, with us is Garrett. Hello, Garrett.
Hello.
Okay.
So I will be your supplemental instructor for this course. What that basically means is that I will try to teach you habits and go over concepts that you may not have gotten when Professor K goes over them. I will be able to respond to individual questions that you have on any programs or assignments, but that will be more of a tutor-based approach. So if you have questions with programs and assignments, you're going to want to go more to the tutors than to the SI, which is me, obviously. I will be hosting at least 2 review sections for anybody who needs it. I will be sending out a survey momentarily to determine when is best for most of you. I will still be able to meet with you on an individual email basis. If you look up my email in the Google Calendar, you'll be able to see when I'm in class. So preferably if you have a need a meeting, schedule it. That's not when I'm in class. So yep, I'm looking forward to meeting you all this semester.
Okay. Garrett is a terrific guy, a terrific kid. You're all kids, by the way. You know, me, old fart, okay, boomer, you, kid. But that's okay, because soon, in 4 years, you'll be my colleague. And that's what I'm aiming at, right? So 4 years from now, you'll be my equal. We got a lot of things to go over today. And why don't we get started doing that? First, because I have my own fragile ego, why don't we just stroke my own ego? I'll show you a little bit about myself. I'm going to share something, and this also goes to the idea that I was just saying, that in computer science, the things that you do, you have no idea where you might end up. Okay. That is not the thing that I expected to share. What is it that you were able to see when I did that, by the way? QuickTime Player. All right, then let's eliminate this. Get rid of that for now. Go back here. And I will share one more time. Heck, I'll share the whole desktop. And now, so now you see the desktop, yes? Everybody?
Yeah.
What are you seeing? Blank screen?
Black screen.
Okay.
If I had brought my phone here, imagine this is a phone. I'm an actor. I did some pantomime before.
Do you hear
okay,
sound?
I'm going to take a selfie. Watch.
And you see a video, good.
Now I'll show it to you. It's the side of my face. Do you see that? It's not bad. It looks really good. See? And it's really easy. So imagine that happened, and now I read this. With just a click, and voila, a portrait in profile. See? Right there. Right there. 200 years ago, you would have, in order to do this, which you can clearly see in my hand, you would have had to sit for a portrait painter to get this shot, okay? Or if you wanted to do it the fast and on the cheap, you'd have a silhouette artist do the job. Working purely by eye, using a piece of black paper and sharp scissors, a skilled silhouette cutter could quickly fashion the paper into a solid profile portrait, which would then be pasted onto a piece of white background paper and framed. Yesterday's silhouette cutter has morphed into today's video rotoscoper. Think Mark Hamill holding a sawed-off broomstick and the rotoscoper matting and transforming him into Luke Skywalker brandishing his light sword, or me holding a not really, but anyway. It's not 18th century cut and paste, but you get the picture. Now, when shooting at 24 or more frames per second, laboring over mats for every one of them can be a time-intensive process, unless, of course, you are using an Emmy-winning rotoscoping tool aptly called Silhouette, and it looks like this.
Invented over 100 years ago, rotoscoping is a frame-by-frame animation tracing technique to reproduce lifelike movement. Since then, the term has broadened beyond hand-drawn animation to visual effects. But at its heart, the principle is the same: to trace or cut out objects or characters for isolation and compositing. Roto is now the backbone of visual effects. Enter Silhouette, a fully featured GPU-accelerated compositing system with its standout features being rotoscoping in Paint, as well as a total of 142 different visual effects nodes, all enabled for stereo 3D. Our rotoscoping innovations include a system designed for speed and a small memory footprint, allowing thousands of shapes and keyframes without impact upon performance. Silhouette also features a unique hybrid paint system that provides the speed of raster with the repeatability of vector. It's purpose-built for visual effects, including the removal of wires and rigs, tracking markers, blemishes, dirt and scratches, as well as retouching. The work of roto and paint artists is not only time-consuming, but is applied across the majority of shots in a production. For close to 15 years, Silhouette has made a contributing impact to television post-production by making these laborious tasks easier. One roto shape and one paint stroke at a time.
Accepting on behalf of Silhouette are Paul Miller, Peter Moyer, Marco Paulini and Perry Kilvalovitz.
Okay, so it's really a fundamental point that I want to make, and I really want to start out with this idea. Oops. Yeah, that guy. Okay. So this is like the most important point I could make at this point in the course, is that I sat in your chair also a long time ago. It was Abe Lincoln was president at the time, and at that time when I was sitting in your chair, I had no idea where computer science could take me. And the same is true for you today, even more so. There's so many more areas that you can go into that didn't exist when I was there. And so computer science, you know, could result in things like this, you know, and it's got cobwebs on it. Huh. So the class is hard, right? Sometimes you might think it's really, really hard, but when you do solve that problem, and you will solve that problem. When you do solve that problem, it will feel really, really good. And keep in mind, it's part of a process. The process can lead anywhere, okay? So keep that in mind. When things look grim, always have hope. And talk to Garrett, talk to myself, and talk to each other. All right. So that's about me. Why don't we, you want to pause for a question, anybody? And the classroom protocol is this. Talk whenever you want, okay? Nobody needs to say, I have a question, which is kind of annoying because I have a question. Yeah, okay, talk, what is it? So the classroom protocol is, you have something to say, please say it, okay? So just jump right in. Garrett's, by the way, keeping track of who talks and who participates and who doesn't, and he's going to write me a report that is very detailed. And you know, anybody who gives me a dirty look, he's gonna notice. That's why the camera is on. We're looking through. It's the dirty look detector. So.
I had a question about Silhouette. So did you develop that on your own, or like how did you make that?
Yeah, it was two programmers. The whole system was created by two programmers, myself and a partner. And wow. That's pretty much every single motion picture, TV show of any kind, that's any level of seriousness goes through Silhouette at some point. It's not my first software used in the visual effects industry. My first software in that industry won Academy Awards for. So the Emmy's what I brought downstairs, but I've got other ones upstairs.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. Anybody seen Forrest Gump? Okay, so Forrest Gump talks, says the dead presidents say a lot of things. That was my software. The handshake with Kennedy, that was my software. Then take a look at that time, similar era, take a look at Titanic. I was involved in Titanic in two ways. In the old days, in the original making, my software did the transitions between 1912 and present day. But then when you fast forward and Titanic was turned into a 3D movie, Silhouette software was used. That's another one of the things it does. It can take a 2D movie and turn it into a 3D movie. So yeah, so I started 5 businesses, most of them in the visual effects field. Did my audio drop out there for a minute?
We could still hear you, it's just different quality.
Okay, so it's back now, yes? I think that was the deep state listening in on our class, because we have all sorts of state secrets to talk about. So yeah, that's what a computer science education can do for you. You know, that's the fundamental point that I have for you today is stick with this. if you have a passion for it, your passion knows no limits. Okay. Thanks. Okay. All right. So Garrett, have you been doing the attendance thing?
Yep.
How many people do we have?
We are missing
That
Blake
means we are.
and Ricardo.
Okay.
If you're here, please tell me. Because...
Thank you. Okay. So what do you say we take a look at the syllabus? And I should say also that I don't know anyone here, with the exception of Zizi. I know Zizi. Hi. I hope you had a great summer. Well, look at it this way. See, here, for you people who are freshmen, this is about to be a new experience in a class. Zizi, I hope you didn't have a shitty summer. He said that. Okay, you're in college now. We can say things like that. All right. So Zizi, I hope you had let's put it another way. I hope you had a great summer. I know I didn't. So okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry you didn't have a good summer.
Well, but another point I want to make is I'm sorry that I don't know anybody's names because you know, having not arrived on campus in the usual way, the roster doesn't have everybody's nice photo on it. So I do try to make it a point to know people's names so I can greet you by name. And I do apologize that I can't do that this year. So if you talk, if you participate in class, I'll get to know you. And I promise that I will greet you by name on graduation day in 2024. Deal? Deal. Okay. So let's do the syllabus. Unless anybody wants to just jump in and talk. And you don't have to sit there right at the camera. Keep the camera on, right? But if you need to if you got the wiggles, get up and wiggle, that's all right. Pets are welcome. Pet noises, as long as it's the actual pet that made the noise and not you, that's welcome as well. Okay, so let's go to, I'll screen share in a moment. And just bringing up the syllabus, and I'll screen share in just a second. And share that screen. Okay, Garrett, can you confirm that my screen is shared?
Yep.
Okay. So you can, one of the benefits of being online like this is I'm not in my office, I'm at home, and like basically I have no life and I have no friends. So I'm on the computer all the time. So you can reach out to me pretty much day or night. You know, if you ask a question, don't be surprised at 2 in the morning you get an answer straight back. I'm not promising that, of course. I'm not promising that I'll be there 24 hours a day for you, but you might be surprised. So you can reach out.
Sable, hop, hop.
Feel free to reach out anytime. If you'd like to make an appointment, we got a pet there? Who do we have there, Morgan? Puppy? Can't tell you because your picture's so small.
Oh, yeah, it's my dog. Hey, Sable, Sable, say hello. Say hi.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when you hand in an assignment, is it going to be you who did it or Puppy? Can you Puppy program? That's what I want to know.
You know, she's shy about her work, so it might be either one of us.
Okay.
But she doesn't have thumbs, and she'll be staying home, so that makes things difficult.
I'll tell you what. I'll give her work the good grades and you the bad ones. Fair?
Noted.
No, I'm kidding. You know, I'm kidding. I get most of what I say. I'm kidding. Don't take anything that I say seriously, except all the things that I mean totally seriously. And that's the problem with life, right? You don't know which
Also
is which.
duly noted.
Okay. Okay, good. We're going to do a little practice in how to make an appointment with me through Google Calendar. Garrett will make an appointment with me in a moment, not yet. And every student here has a Carthage is a Google-based company, facility. So everyone has access to Google Calendar. And I'd like to give you some practice a little later about how to make appointments with me and with others. It's terrific. Meeting patterns, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12:30 to 2:10. Nearly all of us found our way here today, so let's make that a good habit. Now, our book, I know that many of you have already purchased it. Good on you. We'll see that in a little bit more detail as well. So computer science, I love it. I hope you will too. I'm older than dirt. Okay, moving on. Hey, here's an important point. The introductory sequence for computer science, major and minor, you have to have a C or better to move on, okay? So if your ultimate score in this course is a C- or lower, you won't be able to take the next course in the major minor sequence, okay? Now, C- and lower, Carthage has a policy called repeat delete. So if you score a C- or lower and you take the course again and you score a higher grade, the previous one that has a lower grade is wiped off your transcript, okay? And that's not allowable for a C or higher. If you get a C or higher, then that grade stays. But there's an exception to that. We'll get to that in a moment. This is an extraordinary semester, so there are some extraordinary grading policies. Oh, look, it's the very next thing. So I don't know if your other professors have gone over this with you, but there's a special grading policy in effect, and it will give you lots of extra time to decide if you wanted to change your passing grade into the letter S for satisfactory. So suppose you're in a biology class and you want to be a doctor and you got a D. So D is technically a passing grade, it's not an F. So you could turn that D into an S and it wouldn't hit your GPA. That's the benefit. Now, that'll be your choice. You'd have to talk to an advisor to make the switch. But let's talk about this class. This class, you need a C or better, and an S isn't in that range. So if, for example, you did score a C- and it was at your option turned it into an S, that still would not be acceptable to move on to the next course. The other big ticket item for right now is that if you achieve an F, the F at the end of the term will be turned into a W. And that's not usual either. That's just for this term. So it will be like you never took the course at all. You withdrew from the course. And of course, that won't allow you to move on to the next course in the major or minor. Hey, anybody have any questions about this special grading policy? Okay, so crunchy on the outside, soft and chewy on the inside. Yep, okay. So raise your hand if you want an F. Anybody want an F right now? Because it'll save us all a lot of trouble if you just line up for the F now. Okay, so nobody willingly, I mean, that sounds crazy, right? Nobody will stand up and say, yes, I want an F, give me that F, lay that F on me, ah. All right, but at the same token, that's kind of what you're saying if you're unwilling to put in the time to do the work. I got news for you. Computer science is exactly like sports. It's exactly like being a musician. If you don't practice your music, you don't perform well. If you don't practice your sport, you don't perform well. Computer science is no different. You have to develop your craft. You have to develop your muscle memory, so to speak, by doing work outside of class. It's practice. Consider it practice, just like going to band practice or baseball practice or softball practice or whatever it is that you're practicing. It takes practice. You don't do the practice, you're not going to thrive. And that's up to you. Okay? Anybody want to interrupt me? Please go ahead and interrupt. Okay. So thank you. I see just about everybody's camera on. That is good. But let's talk about headphones. If you don't use headphones, what will happen is the sound from your computer's speaker can then be fed back into your computer's microphone. And that makes a feedback loop, which causes a lot of noise. So if you break that loop by wearing a headset, then, or a headset or ear pods or whatever it is that you might have, you're going to be able to break that potential for a feedback loop. So I do encourage you to wear something. Even if it doesn't have a microphone, you could use the microphone on your computer. Best of all is something like an ear pod or noise canceling headphones, who knows. But the moral of the story is it's really, really good in these online meetings to have headphones of some type. At the end of this course, you will be able to scale tall buildings on a single bound and have X-ray vision. Make use of Garrett. Here's his email. Does everybody see his email address there? gjackson1@Carthage. He's a terrific kid. Let's take a look at this. This is a no-bro zone. Okay, so there's this, I want to really make it clear that computer science as a field was born out of the creativity and brains of women. Okay, women are some of the giants in the history of computer science. But that's not so much true anymore, and that's a terrible thing. Okay, so there is this notion of being a programmer, and we're just not going to have that. We're going to try to help each other to avoid that. Okay, we need everyone, short, tall, wide, skinny, polka dotted, walk on the ceiling, walk on the walls. We need everybody to make a better world. Okay, so the moral of the story right now is if somebody makes you uncomfortable, put them on the spot right then and there and tell them, you're making me uncomfortable. When you do blah, I feel uncomfortable. Okay, so just stop people right then and there. Why? Because most often, perhaps charitably, but most often people simply are unaware that they're doing something which are making other people feel uncomfortable. So, hey, this is a no-bro zone. Our world is pretty bleeped up, and we need everyone. We need everyone's skill and everyone's brilliance to make it better. Okay. Practice. Did I say something about practice? Yeah, I think there's more about practice. Okay. We're going to be using C++. There's a lot of different schools and they teach a lot of different languages. C++ is the one that we use, and for a few reasons. One is because it's hard. Seriously. We can use it because it doesn't hold your hand. Now, we could start with a language that does hold your hand. And what we found is that if that's how you start, then you grow up and learn the expectation that your hand is going to be held. And that's not always the case. So we're going to start with something that's on the unforgiving side so that you learn good habits and good skills. And that way it's easier to be a great craftsperson with other languages. And, but you know, I mean, with that said, I mean, look me straight in the eye. The reason we do C++ is because I said so. See, am I kidding? Am I kidding? Maybe I'm kidding. Maybe I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Okay. All right, so we are going to be using an online IDE. Integrated Development Environment is what IDE stands for. We're going to be using one that's online. It's a first time for us. If it doesn't work, we'll figure out something else. But we're going to be using something called mimir. The website is mimirhq.com. And it means that you'll be doing your editing, program development, in a web browser, and then all of the compiling and building and running and testing will be done in the cloud. And the cloud is like really, really cool, right? I mean, everybody's talking about, you know, let's do this in the cloud, let's do that in the cloud. Between you and me, the definition of the cloud means somebody else's computer, okay? So one of the benefits is going to be that if you do not now currently possess a strong laptop, then it's not going to matter because you're going to be using somebody else's computer. That's a good thing. Now, many of you will have very strong laptops, and as we progress, you can install the tools on your own computer. I have, this summer I worked on a big series of videos that are on YouTube. They'll guide you through the step by steps, guide you through the steps, step by step, to get the tools installed on your own computer. But we're going to start out at least on Mimir. Right? Anybody have any questions? Okay. Let's take a break. Who's got a good joke? Anybody got a joke? Who's got a bad joke? How's that? Nobody? Okay, well, I guess the worst joke now is on me, right? I figured somebody would tell a joke and nobody did.
We're just making you improvise.
Oh, I can improvise all day long. I have no problem improvising. It's just I also want to keep my job. Okay, so we are recording, and the recordings will be available to you. Let's talk about the book now. So many of you have already purchased the book. Here's how you do it. You have to go to zybooks.com, zybooks.com, and create an account using your Carthage email address, and then enter this code. The book will be used almost certainly next semester as well. So if you want to take advantage of the cheaper rate by buying 2 semesters at once, you can do that and feel pretty confident. Okay. Now you can read ahead in this as much as you want. Right now, I'm telling you which chapters we're going to cover. We're going to cover 1 through 7 and 9. Okay, so if you're a person after my own heart who wants to jump ahead, please feel free. At any level that you're at in this class, I'll be able to continue challenging you. Okay. Now, homework assignment 1 is already assigned. Chapter 1 is due. We'll take a look at when. So on Tuesdays, we'll generally do a lot of new material, more so than on Thursdays, where we'll do more review. And by the way, with respect to review, I promise you this. Every class will begin with review. And the domain of what is up for review is everything. So 22 class periods from now, if you want to review something we did today, please feel free. The most important thing is that all of your questions get answered, okay? So every day, we're gonna start with review, and review material can go back to day one of class. No matter how far back in time you wanna go, it's fair game. Hey, so there'll be a midterm, there'll be a final. Your programming assignments are 60% of the course, and your Zybook assignments are 20%. Now, doing the Zybook assignments, the reading assignments, it's it's watch an animation. Okay, you get points for that. It's part of your grade. Answer a few questions. Drag and drop a few what's related to that. I mean, it's not a big deal. Sometimes it takes a little time, but it's all straightforward, and it's 20% of your grade. So don't blow it off. It's a free, it should be thought of as a free 20% of your grade, okay? We might have quizzes, but they're not graded. If we do have a quiz, think of it as more review, okay? During the semester, I don't curve, but maybe, just maybe, there'll be a curve at the end of the semester. And I'll even tell you that if there is a curve, in the document is what the curve is gonna be. Raise everybody's grades to 0.8 power, which means that the people at the top won't get helped. The people at the bottom won't get helped. The people in the middle will get helped if there is a curve, okay? Hey, I thought maybe, I have a reputation as being the hard professor, and of course, that's absolutely true. Just ask Garrett. He's only had like 22 classes with me, and he knows that I'm just a terrible ogre. Is that right? Right, Garrett?
It wouldn't be an inaccurate description.
Yeah. Thank you, Garrett. No, I'll deal with you later. But I thought maybe you would benefit or get some comfort about seeing the distribution of grades that I have assigned in this course and in 1110 that came before 1810. As you can see here, there's 174 grades in total. The most frequent grade by far is A plus A or A minus. Okay, so the average grade that I have assigned in all my years here is 2.9, so just under B, so B minus. Okay, so if you hear that I'm a really hard grader and I'm a really tough professor, well, okay, well, here's the data. The data says, do your work and you get a good grade, right? Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, so we'll have lots of assignments. Now, it's really, really important that when you get an assignment, a project, you read the specification. And you got to follow the specification very, very closely. In fact, we're going to try out Mimir soon, but when you do your project on Mimir, you can get instant feedback as to whether or not you're doing it right, because the output of your program will be compared letter for letter against the expected output. And if there are any differences, you'll get told about it. So it's critical that you read the specifications. Okay, so please interrupt me anytime, okay? Just so unmute yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
We got a question from the chat. So say someone is struggling with an exercise and they're at an overall 80% complete. Do they still get credit for the chapter?
Well, yeah, you get 80% of the credit. Yeah. So, do I, let me see, let me just check my, where is it about the readings? Okay. Okay, yeah, so your grade is your grade. It'll give you a percentage done. And if you're at 80%, then you get 80%. Okay? Garrett, you let me know if the person who asked you the question is satisfied with that answer. By the way, folks, you could use Garrett if you don't want to speak up with a question and you don't ask the question. That's a terrible, terrible thing. Don't do that. If you have a question, make it known to somebody, even if it's just to Garrett, and Garrett will ask for you. Okay? All right.
He says he's got it.
Awesome. So please interrupt me anytime you like. Not now. Okay, I'm kidding. You could interrupt. Even then, you could have interrupted me. Oh, look, a squirrel. Advising and accommodations, Carthage really tries hard to make sure everybody has what they need to succeed. Please hook up with Diane Showalter if you have or need or think you might need some special accommodations. By the way, if you do have some special accommodations, email them to me. Some people already have. In this era of remote instruction, for example, getting more time on a test, no problem, because it'll probably be, I'll give you a due date, a due time when the test is due, and it'll be hours and hours. So you'll have plenty of time to do these exams because they will be online. We're not required to be in class together to take the exam. Yeah, all this other stuff. If you're not going to be able to make, we are taking attendance. So if you're not going to be able to make a class, do let us know ahead of time so that instead of being absent, you can be excused. My office is right here. I'm always available to you. If there are changes to be made in the course, I will make them. Here's something really important though. Let's talk about this. Start early, work steadily. Say it with me. Everybody unmute. Let's see what happens when, maybe we can blow up Zoom, right? Everybody unmute, and at the same time, everybody shouts. I'm taking off my headphones. Everybody shouts, start early, work steadily.
Start early, work steadily.
More, louder.
Start early, work steadily.
Okay, this could be a great term. All right, so seriously, start early, work steadily. What do I mean by that? Okay, so you got your intellectual foundations class, and read chapter 9 of, I don't know, Plato, something. And you walk past the book, and the book looks up to you and says, you know, you really do have to read chapter 9. And you look down at the book and you say, not today. The book just says, okay, well, when you're ready to read me, I'll be here. That's different from computer science assignments because the book doesn't fight back. Computer science projects fight back, and they will fight back in interesting, devious, nasty ways when you least expect. So you can't expect to leave the projects to the last minute and be able to do them. You just can't, that's not an expectation you can make at all, right? So start early and chip away at it steadily. If you procrastinate on a computer science project, you will likely receive a far lower grade than you would like. Okay, once again, raise your hand if you want an F. Okay, you want an F, then procrastinate. Don't want an F, start early, work steadily. Okay? One more point to remember is that this is really common. It's really common to think that so-and-so over there, or I should say so-and-so on this part of the screen right there, they know everything. And I feel bad about myself because I know nothing. That's not true. Chances are, no matter which person you look at on the screen right now and thinking that they know more than you, it's a very good chance that they're just as lost as you are, okay? So the important thing is ask questions. Ask Garrett to ask in the class, or send an email, send a chat, make an appointment, just unmute yourself and shout and scream, stick beams up your nose until you turn blue, but ask your questions, okay? That's the important part. Okay, that's enough of the syllabus. Anybody have any questions about the syllabus? Say, Garrett, could you prepare a Google Calendar? In other words, get all that stuff off your screen that you don't want us to see?
Oh, to screen share? Sure.
Yeah, so I'd like you to demonstrate how to make an appointment, okay?
Okay, dokie.
All right, and you do have permission to screen share, so whenever you're ready.
Starting the screen share. Guess they changed this up a bit.
Change what up? Okay, something's happening.
Okay, so I'm gonna close.
There you go, there's a calendar.
Yep. So if you go to searching for people, you can add Perry Kovalovitz using his carthage.edu. So if you're gonna look at mine, you would just have G Jackson 1, and you could see all my busy, when I'm busy, like 10:30 to 11:30, I have Japanese 1, etc. So if I was to make an appointment with Perry, so let's see, you can set your time in here. Gonna make this 1:15.
But if I jump in for a moment, notice on the left-hand side below Gregory Sadler, it says Perry Kovalovitz, and there's a check mark there. And notice that it's this really icky gray. And then look over on the calendar and you see big blocks that say busy in that same color. That's when I'm busy.
Yep.
So if there's nothing there, then that's a hole in which you can make an appointment with me. Okay, take it away, Garrett.
Okay. So then we're gonna make this an event. You can go to more options to further customize this. We're gonna add a guest. Let's have that be Perry. Do you want to be able to modify this, Perry?
Don't care. Yeah.
Okay. Location, Zoom. Let's see. Should be good. So now we can save. Make sure
Here's
you
the
actually
important part.
send invitation emails.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have it saved. Now it's going to be up to Perry to decide whether he wants to accept it or not.
Right.
If he doesn't accept it, you'll just see this disappear. So I can say, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to do this. So I've crossed this out.
Okay. So it's straightforward to be able to see my calendar, and I do try to keep it. Thank you, Garrett.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
Do you want me to stop sharing?
Sure, sure. So that's how you would create an appointment with me, and I encourage you to do so. The worst that can happen is I say I can't meet then. With that said, don't make appointments with me on Thursdays. I have 8 solid hours, 8 friggin' hours of Zoom on Thursdays. So not on Thursdays. No, I draw the line. Okay. Anybody have any questions about making a calendar appointment? And you can do that with all your professors, by the way. So that's a good skill to have. Questions? Okay, tell you what, let's take 3 minutes of a break, and let's come back in just a few minutes. But you can turn cameras off if you want. Get up, walk around, shake yourself, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. And I'll stay here because I'm perfect in every way. So if you have questions, you can just talk to me.
Professor Kowalczyk.
Hello. Hi, Henry.
Hi. You said on the books we're going through chapter 7 or chapter 8?
1 through 7, and then chapter 9.
Oh, okay.
So chapter 8 will be skipped this term, largely skipped.
Okay. Over the summer, I did. I was part of the Carthage SURE program, and the project that I did was entirely in C++, simulating
awesome.
atmospheres and charged particles. And I learned C++ on my own. So I just kind of went through some online course that I found that it went through pointers. So I think I should have at least a bit of familiarity with this stuff.
That's good. That's very, very good. So it is not always the case, but this term we are running our CS2 in a fall. Usually it's only in the spring. So maybe give some thought to whether or not you'd like to drop this and move into 1820 instead of 1810. That is a potential for you, but I would talk to Professor Rick Bingen first if that's something that you would want to pursue. It would be wonderful for you to stay in this course, be 1810, for a number of reasons. One of them, including you can be a real hard ass on me. You can ask me all the sharp questions that'll trip me up. Okay, can I count on you for that?
I can do my best.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back. People are starting to come back. Okay, folks, we're gonna start. So if I'm coming over your computer speaker, I'm gonna go, hey, yo, come on up. Okay, looks like everybody's here. let's take a look at the book, shall we? So I'm going to screen share. If you have your own account, then you can switch to that window and follow along. If you don't have it, if you haven't bought the book yet, then please do so, but perhaps not right now. You can follow along with my screen share. So I'm going to share that screen. And okay, we'll get to Discord in a moment. And let me move this away. So Garrett, I'm depending upon you to grab my attention if there's somebody waiting for me, asking a question, because I can't see anything right now as I share my screen. Okay, my screen is visible, yes?
Yep.
I'm signing in. Okay, so 1810 with this boomer, Kowalowicz. Yeah, if you want to, if you have trouble with my name, just think Kibbles and Bits. Kowalowicz, Kibbles and Bits. Okay. So I can see that 15 students have already subscribed. Let me make this bigger. And let's take a look, for instance. So chapter 1 is assigned, and it's due next week. So let's get a flavor for how this book works. So here's chapter 1.3. And here's a participation activity. So there's lots of words. You read the words. But then some of the exercises are participation activities. So you might want to click on run it at double speed. I'll do that. And I'm going to hit start. And it's going to do some animation. And then I have to hit play again to move on to the next thing. And play again. All right. And we're almost done. And good heavens, if this was normal speed, I would just have smacked my head into the screen. But now that it's done, here's my prize. Okay, so this, if you can see it here, the check mark says you've gotten credit for having done that participation. Okay, let's take a look at a different type of participation activity. Let's see. Program execution begins at main and executes statements surrounded by which symbols? Double quote. Okay, so not quite double quote. How about parentheses? Nope. Okay, how about braces? Yeah, okay, good. So now you've gotten credit. If you can see again, the orange badge there, you've gotten credit for that. Okay. This one is an exercise, but it's not graded. And I can tell it's not graded because there's no shield or badge there. So here's some code, and you can actually write code in here. I'll hit the tab key. I'm going to say // This is a comment. And now I can hit run. And in a moment, the output of the program shows up in the window. Okay. All right, so here's another participation activity. I've had enough of those for one day. And this one is a little bit different in that there's input as well as the output. The output will show up in this large box, but the input is in this small box here, the number 3. So let's say run. And a 3-year-old dog, where did the 3 come from? The 3 came from that input box. Okay. Stop me if you have questions. Of course, I can't see your faces right now. So just jump in, or let's see, what do we have here? I'm looking for, I'll just go down to the bottom and see a challenge activity. Okay, so challenge activities are ones that you have to work out for yourself. So let's read this. You may not understand the code, but that doesn't matter. It's your first day. But so write 2 CIN statements. Those are input statements, console in, that get input values into birth month and birth year. Notice the capitalization where the M is capitalized. That's called Camelback notation, by the way. We'll look at that later. So write in a statement to output the month, a dash, and the year, end with a new line. So come down here and you'll see that your solution goes here. So if I click up there and I'm trying to put spaces in, but it's not working, and I'm getting this highlight in green that says your solution goes here. So there's only a range, a short range of the lines where you can do the input. So let's say C out. I don't know nothing. And so this obviously is not correct. So let's try running it. And every other CS1 student in the universe is running it at the same time. And it says, look, hey, you're wrong. My program printed out, I don't know nothing. And the expected output was 1-2000. Now, there's a second test it didn't even do because I didn't pass the first test. So let's see if I can correct this now. I will print out birth month, followed by a plus sign, and that's wrong. And then birth year. So you see I'm followed by a new line. So I'm getting closer. Let's run that. Let's see if we get close to what it does there. Okay, so this is pretty good. I mean, it's still wrong, but it identified more, well, it gave us a little bit better of an answer. Let me make the right answer now and see. So what is it supposed to do? It's supposed to be month and then year. Yes?
You still need to input into birth month and birth year.
Oh yeah, I forgot something, didn't I? Okay, so now I'll run that. All tests passed. Okay? So when all tests pass, then you got your badges here and you got this self-validation. You could walk away from your computer with your head held high, feeling really, really terrific about yourself because all tests are passed. Okay? So that's what using the book is like. Would anyone like to ask questions? 20% of your grade, folks.
Where do we see when different chapters are due?
Okay.
Schoology?
Yes, excellent question. Let's, I'll share again. And we'll go to Schoology. And over here, it says in this area here, upcoming, on September 9th, chapter 1 is due at 11:59 p.m., okay? So if you click on that, it may or may not give you any more information. So the only additional information I've given you is read and do chapter 1 of the Zybook. Okay, big whoop. Okay. By the way, if you want to see where I'm standing, my dining room has been turned into the classroom. So you can see that I actually have some room that I can go back and I can go forward and I can go this way. And then on only certain days of the week, I can go this way. And hey, okay. So Henry, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. How about somebody else? Another question? Okay, well, then there's something else that we want to talk about. Every Thursday night, we used to have what I call the barbecue. Footnote, no actual barbecue, but we do have pizza. We did have pizza. In fact, we even have a grant for pizza. So there was lots of good pizza, but unfortunately, we're not able to be together right now. So instead, every Thursday night, including tonight, from 7 to 9, we get together virtually on Discord. So Garrett, while I'm talking up Discord, would you be willing to go over to Discord and pull out one of those permalinks and put it in the chat?
Yep, I can do that.
Good. So I'm going to pop over to Discord. I'm going to share my screen again, and I'll give you a bit of an overview, a very bit of an overview. Let's see, is that Discord? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Now, when you get onto Discord, please go to, I'm looking. Where is the, okay, why can't I find it? It's a place where you go to get your roles assigned. Where is it? Darn it. Is it bot stuff? No. That's funny. Class assignment. Yeah, there it is. So when you get to onto Discord, shall I make it bigger so everybody can see? Okay. So find this course in this list. Go to class assignment and find Principles of Computer Science 1. And oh, look, they made it a little babby. Okay, then find the little babby down here and click on that. And that will give you the role, oops, I took myself away. That'll give you the role, or you'll be a member of the CS1. And that's just, it's not required that you do that, but it is helpful for us. Hey, real good joke, guys, whoever decided to put the crying emoji on operating systems. Okay, all right. So here is an Ask Kivalowitz. And Discord generally on my machines will be running 24 hours a day. I might be able to answer you in the middle of the night, maybe I won't, but you've got a reasonable shot at it. Why don't somebody come in here and say something to Ask Kivalowitz? This is when you want to ask me a question about, let's say, so ask me what my favorite ice cream is. Anybody online yet? Go ahead.
It didn't let me accept the link.
Really?
Can you tell us what it said? Okay, can you tell us what it said?
Yeah, it said Safari can't open the specified address.
Oh, you need to go through the Discord, right? If you don't have Discord downloaded, I don't think
Oh,
it'll open
okay.
for you.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, by the way, I'm running the Discord desktop app. It runs on your phones, it runs on your tablets, runs on your computers, and in the browser. So Morgan, you see what I did there? I said, ask me this question. I said, then I said, don't ask me this question. I'm such a stinker. Okay, so Jacob asks, what is the first assignment on Mimir asking us to do? I don't understand. Let's do that next, shall we? Okay. So there's your briefest of introductions to Discord. Well, let me go over to Mimir. Now, in order to get into this class, so first you have to get a login, and then you will have received, and I can do it again, a code. So I'm getting the code. That is the code, and I'm going to put it into the chat. Where's my chat at? That's funny. I don't see the chat. Where's the chat? Okay, go over here. There's the chat. So I'm going to put, this is just the naked code and expressed as a web link like this. Okay, so if you're already on Mimir, you can just use that code. But if you want to click on it and use it like a web link, then it would be the second one. And that's in the chat. Well, that's what I'm talking about is stuff I just put in the chat. Okay. So let me make this bigger. Let me make this bigger. Go to the coursework. And there is one assignment that's live right now. I suggest you get started on it right away because it's due in 3 years. You don't want it to let it sneak up on you. So I'm going to go, so that I can show you what it looks like, I'm going to go into my own sandbox and open in Mimir IDE. So what is this asking you to do? It's not, it's just asking you to experience Mimir. That's all we're talking about. Okay, so how do I get a 2 columns? No, all right, I've never seen it. Okay, new terminal, there we go. And this is what it's gonna look like for you when it first starts. Let me make this bigger. And they've disabled, oh, it's there. Okay, is that, wave your arms at, Garrett, just give me a general feedback. Can everybody read this?
Looks legible to me. Anybody not able to? Sounds like that's your answer.
Good, good. So you have 3 panels here. On the left, it's a tree view of your files. There's a folder called 1810-03. We're section 3 of 1810. And if you click on it, I'm clicking, there is a folder for this assignment. Now, as you get more assignments, there'll be more folders, but they'll all be under the 1810-03. So I'm going to click on Hello You, and these are the 2 files that are in that folder. The first one is readme.md. That's, you're actually seeing, that's what came up. MD stands for Markdown, and you can get a hint of that. You see there's an M and a down arrow. So Markdown is something that you ought to learn at some point because it's a really easy way to make nicely formatted text for others to read online. So I'll just quick for a moment switch to edit source, and then I'll switch back. But you notice that up at the top, there's this big letters, hello, Mimir, and then a line, and then smaller letters, and then highlighted main.cpp. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So here, it's that easy. £1 or Octothorpe, hello, Mimir, that's my top level heading. £2, secondary level heading. I can make italics just by surrounding it with asterisks. And those highlighted texts are just these backticks. Okay, so it's a very easy way to create formatted text online. So with each project, you'll get a README. And it's the README that contains the instructions for the project. So you want to read these very, very carefully. Okay. Now, the code is, you'll get starter code. Now, sometimes the starter code might be as simple as an empty file, but I have to give you, even if it's just empty, I still have to give you a starter file.
Hey, Professor.
Yes.
Where did you put that course code for the Mimir? We're not seeing it over here.
In the chat.
The Zoom chat, the Discord chat.
In the, oh, we have so many chats. In the Zoom chat, let's see. There it is, okay, chat. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I sent it privately to a class member. Let me send it to everybody. I apologize, but good catch, everybody. Okay, do you have it now?
Yep.
Oh, forgive me, that's my mistake. So the text that's rendered in white is the code itself, but in blue is the code embedded in a web link. Thank you, Garrett.
No worries.
Okay. So now I'm going to click on the main.cpp, and there's the actual code, in this case, the starter code. So you would be responsible for writing code in a window like this. It's not important what this code means yet, although if there's, we end at 2:10, if there's time, we'll come back and start playing with this. But this is an example. It's not graded, but it's here to show you the steps that you'll need to do a project and to hand it in as well. So this third panel is a command line terminal. So this is the real deal. This is Linux. In order to test your program, you have to compile it or build it. And the way that that will be done, in this case, it's very simple. G++, do it along with me if you have it open. Main.cpp. And it comes back and no errors. So to execute it, it would be /a.out. A.out, why A.out? Well, because it's a historical legacy. That's the way it was in the early 70s when Unix was invented, and really no other reason than that. But I can tell you some funny stories about A.out. Hilarious, real knee slappers. So I'm gonna hit return now, and now the program's running. It says, enter your name, and over on this side, you could see that I'm using console output, enter your name, and there it is. So I'm going to enter okay, Rumpelstiltskin. I hit return, and it says, hello, Rumpelstiltskin. So somehow there was this getting of input, so prompt, getting of input, and then putting out some more output. And then a return, and somehow that ended the program.
Quick question here for the guys. Do you still need to use the STD 2011 to get the correct warning errors, or will the correct warnings show up with just the G++ now? I can't remember if that's a new Visual Studio thing or.
Okay, that's a great question. We're jumping ahead a little bit though. This code is so simple that we were able to build it, and the build instructions were here, the G++, using just the fewest characters. In general, this is the way that you would build your programs. You ready? Here we go. G++ dash warnings all dash use the debugger dash G space dash std equals C++11 main.cpp. Okay, so the dash wall says be pedantic about reporting warnings. Now, warnings are things that might be wrong. Okay, errors are definitely wrong. Warnings are things that might be wrong. Now, don't blow them off, because if your code, when I build your code, if it generates even a single warning, I'll take 10 points off. So warnings are actually quite important. I'm fastidious about them because, well, for one thing, the warnings have the word warning in them. Okay, and warnings do kind of sound important. So dash wall says, tell me about all potential warnings. The dash G enables certain debugging information, which will help you later. And then there are many different flavors of C++. Our department teaches version 11, C++ version 11. So we will use features that are present in 11, which were not present in earlier versions. So to make sure that those features work, that's why we specify what standard to use. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make a bug. I just added a space between NA and ME. I need to look up here, folks. You see the X, which will close the window, but there's a circle there that says it's not saved. So Control S, or on a Mac, Option S, Command S. Now I'm going to run that again, and this time there are some problems. So what I want to draw your attention to is that first number here, the 7. The 7, that first number, is the line number where the error is. And it says it's on line 7. Then also read the error message. Expected an initializer before me. Oh, that's kind of biblical. Thou shalt have no initializer before me. Okay. So there's my line 7. I'm going to remove the space, Command S to save, which would be Control S on Windows, and I'll try building again, and no errors. So here is where I would be building, testing, building, testing, building, testing on my own tests. When you're ready to see if you're able to pass the instructor's tests, you hit submit, okay? So submit, And this is actually a little bit trickier than it should be, because look at all this garbage here. So you have to be real careful about what it is that you're going to submit. So the more and more assignments that you do, the messier this is going to get. So let's see. What I want to do is, I'm looking down. I find, oh, there's hello you. I click on that. And now I want to submit main.cpp for hello you. So I've been real careful about figuring out what it is I need to submit. Okay, the submission was successful. Now I'd really like to know, how did I do? Because the assignments that you get will have automatically gradable components to them. So I'm going to say view submission. And first I look, I say, oh, cool, I got 100 points out of 100 points. So, but word to the wise here, you've achieved 100% of the tests that I made public. That doesn't mean you've achieved 100% on all the tests. Some of the tests I keep hidden, right? Okay, so if you'd like to see more details about a particular test, let's say you failed one, and I can go ahead and do that. So here, let me go ahead and fail a test then. I'm going to go back. And go back here to the, where's the IDE? That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Okay. Oh, there it is. It was underneath another panel. And now I lost it. Okay. So close. And now I'm going to enter in a mistake. And I'm going to say, enter your name in capital letters. Save. I'm going to build it, and I'm going to test it myself. /a.out. That looks pretty good. Hey, this works. Looks fine. I ran my own test. So I'm ready to submit. Okay, I'll submit. Submit. Go find it again. This is the tricky part. Here's hello you. And main.cpp. View the submission. How did I do this time? Okay, so it was only one public test, and I got it wrong, so I failed. Let's look at this screen here. So the input for the test was this text here, and my program entered that. It was supposed to be this. Now there's a bit of a screwiness here. This is a problem. All these online IDEs have this problem. I offered to sell a number of these companies the solution, but amazingly, they haven't taken up. You know, there's with one guy, not one guy. There was I don't remember which online IDE it was. You're witnessing your first digression, by the way, boys and girls. They said that yeah, we know it's a problem and we don't know how to solve it. So I said, okay, well, here's a solution. I wrote it during breakfast this morning. All right, well, I guess that wasn't a great way to get business. But anyway, the screwiness is when you run this yourself, and when you run this yourself, it'll be on two different lines, but here it's on the same line. So the difference between the expected output and the output that you created is shown in two different ways. Here is broken out line by line, but here they're both on the same line with some color coding. So you look to this output to find out where did you go wrong, okay? Where are the letter for letter differences? Okay, at this point, I'm going to stop the share. Well, before I stop the share, does anybody have any questions? So this is Mimir.
So are our assignments going to be on Mimir like most of the time, or is it just tests.
Yes, your assignments will be on Mimir.
Okay.
So you'll be getting starter code, data files, and specifications right here in Mimir.
Okay.
Okay, and you could submit as many times as you want.
Okay. Sounds
Okay,
good.
so, yep. So the act of submitting is how you find out how well you did against the tests that have been prepared for you. You should test on your own first.
So is it always going to just be unlimited submitting?
Yes, unlimited submitting.
Okay.
Is there anything philosophically wrong with that? No, I don't think so. Because I'm asking myself this question because I am a bit of a hard ass. And I do frequently will tell people, hey, it's not going to be like that in the real world, is there? Will it? And in this case, yes, as you are a developer in the real world, you'll have unlimited opportunities to test on your own before you declare a project finished, right? So yeah, it's unlimited testing, unlimited submitting. Right? But notice the due date, okay? Okay, so you got to turn this one in before December 31st, 2023. Other questions before I leave Mimir? Okay, how do we do? We did our first day. Okay. Class number 2, you win one of these. Sound good? Okay. All right, everybody, feel free to book appointments with myself, work out appointments with Garrett, email, Discord. Caitlin, I'm not sure yet because I haven't posted one yet. Let's see. So I will email the entire class as soon as I figure out how to do that. Let's see. So Garrett, Jacob. Yes, go ahead, Garrett.
Oh, I was going to say, didn't we have it on the GitHub, or was that the Schoology last semester?
Last year I used Google Meet.
Oh, right.
Right, so I haven't recorded a Zoom yet. So in an hour or two, I'll get an email saying the recording's ready. And then I'll make it available to everybody via probably Schoology. It'll be a link.
So I'm guessing everything you just showed us on Mimir, we're going to learn that stuff throughout, like, until December 31st.
Of 2023? Yep.
Okay.
So by everything that, you mean like the code and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's part of the course. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You're not expected, I'm not at all expecting that you know what that stuff means.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, today was just a walkthrough of what it will look like pretty soon, because pretty soon you'll know what all those things mean.
Okay, sounds good.
Very soon. Okay. Thank you, William. So seriously, folks, I think we're going to have a blast. You know, if you're concerned at all about this being remote, you know, if you were in a chemistry lab remote, that's a problem. But computer science, in some ways, this could be better. You know, so don't at all have any misgivings about it. Just show up, ask questions, do the work, and have fun. This is fun. Okay, does anybody have anything they want to say?
So for like the assignments that are posted on Mimir, do we like automatically like unlock the next assignment after we complete the one that we're working on, or will we get them like over time?
You get them over time, right? So
okay,
as
so like we can't go ahead on them.
yes, you can go ahead on the book though. Feel free to
Right.
do that.
Will you also post Mimir assignments on Schoology?
That
Or
yes,
is it-
that's correct.
Okay.
You'll be alerted to go to Mimir on Schoology.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And it occurs to me that I think a reasonable final exam would be to just ask you to correctly enter all from memory all your passwords, and if you can remember them all, you get an A. Because so what I'm trying to say is I'm sorry you have so many different sites to go to, but we've searched for years to find a good online IDE. Mimir is the first one we're actually trying out with students. So I think I have high hopes for it.
What happened with Travis's thesis project? Did that not work?
I can fill you in on that offline.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any crazy questions not related to what we talked about today? Like, hey, did you meet anybody famous or things like that?
Were you a part of the Avatar, like making it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they're coming out with another one? Is that like true?
It's supposed to be true. Yeah.
All right.
So on Avatar, my software was used in a place where you'll never know it unless I told you it was used. In that business, if you do your work right, nobody knows you did it. So
okay.
So sometimes you do an effect, right, and the effect is in your face, like morphing. You know, somebody turns into a can of Coke. That's pretty in your face. It's obvious that humans don't do that every day. So there must be some special effect going on there, visual effect, really. But a lot of the work that my company's software did, still does. We sold it, so I'm not there anymore. If you do it right, nobody knows you did it. So, for example, in Avatar, on the moon Pandora, there is a poisonous atmosphere, right? Does everybody remember that? It's poisonous air there. I'll finish this up and then I'll answer what type of event is happening on the Discord. It's just where we get to get it's called our barbecue. We just get together, get to know each other, hang out, chat. When you have projects to do, you can discuss your projects together. But let's get back to Pandora. So the actors, when they were on set, are all wearing the mask, but none of them had glass in the mask. Because if you had one of these heavy duty masks with glass, you'd actually have to be breathing from an oxygen tank. And the glass would fog up and stuff like that. So not a single actor had glass in their mask. So my software was used to track automatically everybody's motion and output to a 3D modeling package where to put the 3D modeled glass. So all of the glass in Avatar, all of the glass masks were 3D generated, 3D software. So my software was used to automatically track the position of everybody's face at that time. So, okay. I'm smiling a sincere and hearty smile. I'm really glad to see everybody here. And I'm really glad to be with you at the start of what could be an amazing career. And with that, I'll sign off and I'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.